Welcome to Wine Soundtrack Australia. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world.
In 30 ounces, discover their stories, personalities and passions.
Hello friends and listeners of Wine Soundtrack. My name is Priscilla Hennicke. I am here with Adrian Sparks from Mount Pleasant. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very nice. It's a beautiful day. Where are you located? Tell us.
In Pacolban in the Hunter Valley, New South Wales, Australia.
Tell us what's the special about Hunter Valley. What's making your wine so special?
It's the oldest grape growing wine region in Australia, and probably ideally suited to Semillon and Shiraz. We've got some of the oldest vines in Australia, and it's a great place to grow grapes.
Well, you have the oldest Pinot Noir in the country, right?
Yeah, the oldest Pinot Noir vineyard was planted in 1921 by Australia's leading winemaker, Maurice O'Shea.
So he was a French guy and he came to Australia. What's like he started actually make some wines from 1880 as well, like some Shiraz, like the Old Hill, that's what you have. So tell me, he came from France and he started like a building winery here in Hunter Valley?
He was born in Australia, so he's with French and Irish parents. And he went to Montpellier University when he was young. As a 15-year-old, got thrown on a boat. So I don't know what you were doing when you're 15, but I wasn't being put on a boat to go overseas to study. So there he did his university, learnt a lot about making wine, making table wines, and then came back to Australia. And then in 1920 started touring the Hunter Valley, looking for the perfect place to grow grapes. And he ventured past Mount Pleasant one day. And there was a vineyard here already that was planted in 1880, and he purchased the property and a little bit of land around it, and named it Mount Pleasant. And I suppose from then on, he became quite famous.
Yeah. So how many hectares do you have here?
We've got 85 hectares under vine. Maurice started with the 3 hectares of the Old Hill, and then planted another 3/4 of a hectare of Pinot, and then he took cuttings from the Old Hill and planted another hectare of Shiraz. So that was his basis for his first wines.
So we know Semillon is very famous in Hunter. What else is that? Which type of wines do we make here?
For Semillon, we've got our famous Lovedale Vineyard, one of the great single vineyard Semillons of the world. And then we've got another vineyard called Rose Hill, which is a very quintessential Hunter Valley wine, very medium-bodied, classic sort of true Hunter Valley characters. And then the Old Hill and Old Paddock vineyards where we are now, and they provide wines a little bit more structure, a little bit more tannin, and great longevity.
Wow. And what's the story about Philip and Elizabeth?
Philip and Elizabeth, yeah. So everyone says they were named after the king and queen, which... there's probably a bit of truth to that, but they're very popular names back through the 50s and 60s. And then I think Brian Walsh, the winemaker at the time, started naming his wines Philip and Elizabeth. And then people keep pressuring us to do a George now and a Charles and I don't know the other one. I don't know what the other ones are, the other royals.
What's your first memory? How did you start actually in the wine industry? What was your first memory relevant to the wine?
My first memory was I was catching chickens for a living, university holiday jobs, and while it was rewarding physically, I think I was doing a chemistry degree, so I needed to do something a bit more with my brain. And so I contacted the chief winemaker at the time for McWilliams and on a Friday and said, I need a job, this is me. And so I started Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and my first memory was giving a blowtorch and a pair of gloves and heading down this underground tank and waxing tanks in 45 degrees. So it wasn't the greatest start, but there were some good times, a lot of good people to work with, and then they teach you a lot of things, and it's just a good industry to get into.
Yeah. How long have you been working in the wine industry?
Since 98, so it'd be 25 years this year, which is amazing considering I'm only 30, so I started young, but I cracked into it nice and young. But no, it's been a lot of different roles throughout that time. I've always been fortunate enough to be moved into different positions to learn lots of bits and pieces like cellar, laboratory, assistant winemaker, and training winemaker, doing vintages around the country, around the world, and ultimately ending up here. And what better place to make wine?
Andrew is so young. I can see he's 30 years. I know his face. Do you believe in a perfect variety, Adrian?
The perfect variety. I believe in the perfect site. The perfect variety, I think, would be more akin to a region. I mean, the perfect variety might not work in a certain region. So I suppose you can have a perfect site, and if you can plant those perfect grapes for that site, then yeah, the perfect site I think would be for me.
Do you know what I like to ask in most of my podcasts is actually to hear the opinion of the winemakers. What's about cork and screw cap?
All the great it's a good one. All the greatest wines I've ever tried in the world, 90% of them have been under cork, or from all around the world. That's not to say that I haven't tried great wines under screw cap. They definitely have. I just think cork's been around a lot longer. Some of the greatest aged examples I've ever seen have all been under cork. And I think hopefully in another 10, 15 years, we start seeing those greatest wines in the world become under screw cap. I mean, that's how Australia's gone. And I think securing our fruit and making sure we're not getting bottles that are corked or oxidised or anything is a great thing.
So just for clarify, all listeners around the world. So the screw cap is amazing.
I love them, and they're easy to take off, and you don't need a corkscrew.
How much is your cellar most expensive bottle?
Just on standard releases, $2.75 for our Maurice O'Shea Shiraz. So that's our best of the best Shiraz. We only do it in the greatest years, and that's our tribute to our founder. And then some of our museum wines, etc., go into the thousands.
Thousands. Can you name?
Anything that was actually made by Maurice O'Shea, so pre-1956 Mount Pleasance. I mean, I've got one and I wouldn't sell it, so that would probably be classified as priceless. If someone made me a stupid offer, I'd probably sell it. But I think they're so hard to get, so that I wouldn't even like to put a price on it because I wouldn't sell it.
Yeah. So if you imagine if you are in Australia, maybe overseas, and you have like if you know anyone like a VIP person, just see like which VIP, like can be a famous actor, can be a famous singer, drinking Mount Pleasant wine. So who across in your mind, who is the person you would like to see with a glass in the bottle of Mount Pleasant?
Someone famous. I'm trying to think of someone who's got the most Instagram followers.
That's good.
Yeah, so I can maximise the exposure. It'd have to be a singer, someone like Kylie Minogue maybe, or someone. Yeah. She's a great Aussie celebrity. Maybe a good age semi, I think. We release all our Semillons after 5 years when they're at their absolute prime, so maybe an aged Lovedale Semillon, I think, with Kylie would be good.
Yeah, wow, she'll love that. I hope she listens in that podcast and drink some Semillon and send some pictures to you.
That'd be good. That'd be great.
So tell me about the vintage. Each vintage is a different story or not?
In the Hunter Valley, absolutely. It's very different. We can go... The last couple of years have been quite cool and damp. This year has been phenomenal. I would rate the 2023 vintage so far that we've had, and we've only just finished picking last week, as right up there with 2014, 2018, if not superior. But there are some challenges. 2020, we didn't pick any fruit because of the bushfires, smoke taint. 2015, 2012, 2008, wet vintages, shocking. But then you have these memorable moments like, this year, 2023, and it's just super and it makes everything worth it. So very, very different each vintage.
How was it 2020? Tell us what's happened.
In 2018?
2020.
2020. So there was a huge bushfire that ran through the Hunter Valley, and the winery and all our vineyards were just covered in smoke, and for a good couple of months. And we did a lot of laboratory testing, a lot of samples, tastings, etc., and we just didn't feel like we wanted to bottle any wines due to the presence of compounds that will derive from smoke, which will affect the wine.
Yeah, so 2020 now vintage. That's very hard sometimes for the wine industry, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great, to be honest. it gave me a lot of free time that year. and throughout the subsequent year where I didn't have to bottle any 2020 reds. But, you've got to suck it up. The fruit looked great on the vine, but we just didn't want to take the risk, building a brand. Everything we do here is about quality. We're getting smaller. All the focus is on quality, and that's what we want to do. So not releasing those wines is the best thing we ever did.
Yeah, true. So when you were little, very little, what did you want to be when you grew up? Always a winemaker?
Absolutely not. One of my friends at university said he was going to be a winemaker, and he was at university doing a wine degree, and I went, how is that a degree? It's just, you just rock up to a cellar and make wines. No, first I wanted to be a maths teacher. I don't know why. I love mathematics. And then I went to university to be a coroner. I wanted to go and work in forensics, and I watched a lot of TV when I was young. So that was it. And then, chemistry degree, working in the winery. There's a lot of chemistry in wine. I was absolutely terrible at art at school, but there's a lot of art in wine. I think everyone's art is different and how they express themselves, and it gives me a good chance to express, without putting stamps on the wines and the vineyards. It's, my art, I suppose.
Yeah, so that's why you started to interested and became the winemaker. But before then, no, you never thought before anything about wines.
No, not at all. I like drinking it. I like drinking cask wine when I was young, when you were poor at university. But no, and then a good friend of mine, Joel Pizzini, gave me a bottle from my 21st of a really nice wine. I went, oh, that's a great wine. And I went, that's interesting. And then someone explained something about how to make it, and it all just went from there. Yeah, loved it.
So when you talk about pair wines and food, you're very traditional, like white wine with fish, red wine with red wine, or you pair different? How you recommend to pair your wines with foods?
Our wines are very savoury, I suppose, especially our reds. I recommend Semillon with seafood any day of the week. I think they're the perfect pair, but our reds are quite savoury, so they're built to drink with or without food. I don't mind, a good Shiraz with chicken, or it doesn't really bother me. I mean, enjoy it. I think who you're drinking with is more important than what you're eating. So.
Yeah, I agree. That's good answer. Yeah, that's most important, who you are with. How many glasses or bottles of wine are needed to get you drunk, Adrian? Can you tell us? Tell the truth.
A lot. I can comfortably do a bottle.
And a bit drunk, or still okay for another bottle?
I can keep going. Definitely. I would say 2 bottles of red and then a glass of scotch will stop me for the night. That's plenty.
Oh, scotch. That's nice. Was it like any particular one you like?
They're not the peaty wines, not the peaty scotches, that's for sure. I don't know. I like to try different scotches. I'm not a huge scotch connoisseur, but it's good with some ice at the end of the night. Yeah.
Oh, good. So what do you do when you work? Like when you're not working, when you're not in the winery, how do you like to spend your free time?
I like to hack up golf courses, get out there and golf and create as many divots as I possibly can. Hang out with the kids, take them to sport on weekends, jump in the pool with them. I've just bought them an Xbox for Christmas, which they hardly use, so I've been spending a lot of time on the Xbox, getting my money out of it. I don't know, hang out with the boys, hang out with friends, like to travel, go and see friends from around Australia, try and unwind, but generally most of it's with wine. Most of it's taking a bottle of wine around a friend's house and talking, sometimes mine, sometimes others. Just like talking, conversing.
Do you have like a bigger cellar in your home? Do you have to age in your wines?
I have a lot of wine. They're not at my home. They're here at work in a cage. I don't know what's in there, but there's a lot. And when I build the perfect house, it's going to have a room dedicated to all my wine, and it's going to be perfectly catalogued, so I can go, that bottle's right there, and find it nicely, easily, so I don't have to muck around for 20 minutes waiting.
Do you have any sport in particular you love it to do?
I used to play squash, maybe showing my age when I said I was only 30 before. So squash I grew up playing, and then Australian rules football, I played that until my body started breaking down. Golf. I played a heap of sport when I was young. Cricket, softball, any sport, soccer, any sport you could play. But really, at the end of the, I wouldn't call it a career.
Soccer.
I wasn't very good at it.
Not like a Messi.
Not even close. I scored one goal in 5 years of playing soccer. I scored it, and my son scored 2 goals in his first game. So,
he's better than you.
quite comfortably.
So, in your first date, did you drink wine? Your first date with maybe your wife or girlfriend in the past?
My first date. Wasn't much in the dating scene. Probably not. I probably drank beer and bourbon and Coke. I say, well, my two choices when I was 18, something like that. Yeah. But then wine only came to me late, like when I was 21, 22. I was never into wine before then.
Yeah. But do you remember when you dated and they asked you the first bottle of wine with him? I don't know if he's your wife today or not, but
I wouldn't have been. I would have got the cheapest thing on the menu, most likely. I would have tried to find the bottle that she would have liked. So, like, I don't know what it would have been, a white wine, probably a Sauv Blanc or something back in those days. But I would have been thinking about what she liked rather than what I liked.
Complete the sentence. A table without wine is like...
Not a very good day.
You need a wine on the table.
Yeah.
Do you have any good lucky ritual for when harvest is about to start? Like you do anything every year before the harvest just to make sure we have a good harvest?
I usually take the team out, so we get casuals in from all around the world. So this year we've got a Canadian, a Kiwi, and then someone from South Australia in, which is, they're very different to South Australians. So we've got all those in, so 2 ladies and a man. We take them out for dinner, do a lot of tastings, a lot of blind tastings, just get them fired up, tasting really good wine. We used to do a beard growing competition, so everyone had to draw a beard out of a hat and then grow that for vintage, which was quite good. And then someone one year drew a beard out of the hat where you had to do half your beard, half your face with beard and then half the face with no beard, and you had to own your beard. You couldn't go in and say, I'm just doing this for a vintage competition. But yeah, I think getting really involved in the wine, getting people involved in the Mount Pleasant story, tasting really good wines is a good way to psych up for vintage.
Yeah. And this vintage was just amazing. You're making great wines in 2023.
Yep, this will be an absolute classic vintage. I mean, Shiraz looks amazing, really long hang time. It was such a late vintage, it's probably 2 or 3 weeks behind normal. And that just time of the vine, accumulation of flavours, colours. We're pressing off wines, and the intensity, the colour is just unreal. So, pretty pumped.
Wow. And tell us, what do you think about the future? What the most people are going to drink in the future?
I think people are getting more health conscious, so they'll start looking at slightly lower alcohol wines. I mean, the Hunter Valley is already leading that. Our wines are 13.5% alcohol, as opposed to a lot of red wine around the country that's at 14s, 14.5s, 15s. Semillon is already in that profile, 10.5% alcohol. So I think that was, a leading wine in that department. Savoury wines you can drink with and without food. Medium-bodied wines. And then looking at sustainability, the green movement, those sort of things, wines that come from a place that respects the environment, those sort of things I think will be the future.
Yeah. Do you think that people are going to drink any specific different variety in the future?
There's a lot of work being doing, and Nicholas, our viticulturalist, is looking at disease-resistant varieties. So you have Shiraz, but then it's been genetically modified to produce another variety that doesn't have any requirements for spraying, so very minimal vineyard work, no sprays, so very health conscious wines. I think there'll be an opportunity that in the future, but again, that technology is happening now, but it's not going to be 5 or 10 years till we start seeing those in the market.
Cool. And then as a winemaker, what's your dream like do you like it to visit the other wine regions, or do you have any other dream in the wine industry you want to share with us?
Well, the dream is right now where I am. I never dreamt about being here 25 years ago. Look, I've been fortunate enough to travel around through France and the US, a bit through Italy and Spain. I really want to get to places like Canada, into Germany, South Africa, New Zealand. I've done a little bit in New Zealand, but probably not as much as I'd like. Just other regions, see what people are doing, try and understand other places, other varieties. The more education I can get from elsewhere, and there might be something that I can bring back to improve our wines, then great.
Yeah. But do you have any dream outside of work?
Apart from making wine,
Be rich?
do I, sorry?
Be rich, you're a millionaire?
I work in the wine industry. That's not happening. I don't know.
Let's play a game. Are you ready for that?
Shoot, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Cool. You tell the names of the famous people in the world,
Yep.
and then you need to recommend a wine for them. Can be your wines, or can be other wines. They really up to you. All right. We start with a singer, Bobby Marley. What do you recommend for Bobby Marley?
Who?
Bobby Marley.
I don't know who that is.
The rag.
Oh, Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Bob Marley, pretty reggae, pretty funky. Something like a Pinot, I think. Something with a bit of bunch in it he might like.
Yeah.
Bit of fun.
One of the oldest Pinot in Australia.
Yep, you could go with that. That'd be great. Yes, the Mother Vine, that'd be terrific.
And Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's probably not drinking too much anymore. He probably would like a wine a red variety that's been treated and turned into a white variety.
All right, yeah, probably. That's actually suits him very well. Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama, sophisticated, classy. If she was drinking one of our wines, probably a Rose Hill Shiraz.
Ooh. And Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, probably quite the opposite. Probably a bit out there. He would be drinking something from the Jura or something a bit weird, slightly orange, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Pablo Picasso?
Picasso, arty. Maybe Lewin Estate Art Series. If he's into his art, yeah. Art Series, yep.
Like from Margaret River?
Yep, the Art Series, yep. There we go.
Yeah. And Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie. What's she good at? Acting and adopting kids.
She probably needs lots of wines with lots of kids.
Probably, yes. Having all those kids needs lots of wine. She'd probably want something in a cask to see her through the day. Something that comes in volume. I think she's got a bit of cash. She could probably drink out Maurice O'Shea Shiraz, I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, she probably has lots of cash, I would say.
Yep.
Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, whatever she doesn't drink. They probably used to drink the same thing, but not so much anymore. Brad Pitt. He's every girl's heartthrob man. What do girls like drinking? Medium-bodied reds. Maybe our man Henry Shiraz Pinot. It's a bit subtle and elegant. Yeah, something like that.
And the last one, Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. Oh, I have no idea what he'd drink. He would probably like something. I got no idea. Absolutely no idea.
No idea? No?
Sorry.
Like anything inspire. He's quite inspiration person.
He'd probably drink Lovedale. That was planted by O'Shea back in the 40s. It's got a lot of history, a lot of legacy, so something like that.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much. It was amazing. Thank you for all the information. And would you like to remind us how to reach your cellar door and your website?
Yep, so we're mountpleasantwines.com.au. Jump on there, there's a lot of information, a lot of great pictures of me, which is always great.
Very attractive.
Yeah, oh, super.
30 years old.
30 years old, looking a lot older. And then we're located at 401 Marrowbone Road, Pecolbin in the Hunter Valley. We've got a brand new cellar door that's been open not even a year yet. So there's food and it's just a great setting in the vines. So pop in, have a look, have a taste.
Yeah, it's a beautiful setup. Thank you so much, Adrian. Have a lovely day. It was amazing to have a chat with you. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy tasting wines now.
Great. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack Australia. For details and updates, visit our website, winesoundtrack.com.